There used to be one rule for watching a movie. You bought a ticket, you watched it, you went home. Then, in 2008, Iron Man ended. And after the credits, after most of the theater had already left, a man in an eye patch stepped out of the shadows and said, "You've become part of a bigger universe. You just don't know it yet." He wasn't talking to Tony Stark. He was talking to you. 11 years later, walking into one movie fully caught up required 21 other movies first. Roughly 2 full days of viewing. Homework. And millions of people did the homework. Happily. They memorized timelines. They sat through 8 minutes of credits for 30 seconds of information. They felt genuinely behind if they skipped one. And then, almost overnight, they stopped. By the end of this video, you're going to know exactly how Marvel built the most effective watch-everything machine in entertainment history. The open loop, the club, the collection, the payoff, and how the same machine broke the spell. Let's get into it. Before Marvel, franchises were simple chains. A movie, a sequel, maybe a third. If you liked one, you watched the next. If you didn't, you stopped, and stopping cost you nothing. Marvel didn't build a chain, it built a network. One movie introduced a character, another movie introduced another. Then they crossed over. Then the side characters got their own stories. Then those stories started planting seeds that wouldn't pay off for years, which quietly changed what a single movie was. It stopped being a complete thing and became a piece of something, and that changes what stopping feels like. When a story is self-contained, walking away is neutral. When a story is part of a system, walking away feels like leaving something unfinished. Human beings are famously bad at leaving things unfinished. Marvel turned that into a viewing engine. In the 1920s, a psychologist named Zeigarnik noticed something odd about waiters. They could remember every detail of an unpaid order, and almost nothing about the ones that were settled. She tested it in the lab, and the pattern held. Interrupted tasks stick in the mind. Finished ones evaporate. It's called the Zeigarnik effect. An open loop stays loud, a closed loop goes quiet. Now look at what a Marvel movie actually does. Who was that in the post-credit scene? Why did that line feel important? What is this setting up? Every answer opens another question. The credits roll, but the story refuses to close. Psychologically, you leave the theater mid-task. That's the trick. You're already thinking about the next movie before you've reached the parking lot. And the post-credit scene became the ritual that trained it. It started as a bonus. It became mandatory. Nothing is ever over. There is always one more thing. Once audiences learned that rule, they started seeing connections everywhere, because now they were looking. Then there's the reason you watched even when you weren't sure you wanted to. Everyone was talking about it. The trailers were everywhere. The memes were everywhere. Someone at work says, "Did you see what happened?" And suddenly you're dodging spoilers like classified intelligence. So you watch, not always for the movie, sometimes just to stay in the conversation. Because a Marvel movie wasn't only a story, it was a shared language. Quote a line, and whoever gets it is instantly on your team. The more you watched, the more fluent you became, and fluency felt good. Opening night made it physical. People dressed up, people cheered. A theater full of strangers behaving like a stadium. And when everyone around you reacts that intensely, your own reaction amplifies. Psychologists call it social proof. You weren't just watching a story, you were attending a cultural moment. And cultural moments expire. You want in now, before the spoilers, before the memes, before everyone else moves on. Completionism is a hell of a drug. Some people cannot leave a series unfinished. 10 books? They need all 10. 8 seasons? All 8? 30-odd movies? You see where this is going? Marvel turned watching into collecting. Not objects, understanding. I've seen that one. I know who she is. I get that reference. No holes in the map. And once you've seen 10 of them, the 11th isn't really a separate decision anymore. It's continuing something you've already started. We've met this machinery on this channel before. It's sunk cost, the same force that makes a warehouse membership feel like a mission. You've put in years, time, money, attention. So when a movie comes along that honestly doesn't look that interesting, a quiet voice says, "You've come this far." And what if it matters later? You're no longer deciding whether one movie is worth 2 hours. You're deciding whether to end a relationship. That's a much harder thing to walk away from. And for one night in 2019, every bit of that investment paid out at once. Avengers. Endgame opened to $357 million in a single weekend, the biggest opening in history. It went on to pass Avatar and become, for a while, the highest-grossing film ever made. But the number isn't the interesting part. The interesting part is why those screenings felt like sports finals. A character walks through a portal, and grown adults scream. A line lands, and the room applauds. Not because the line was extraordinary, because the audience had been prepared for it for 11 years. That's what a connected universe can do that nothing else can. It turns memory into payoff. Every hour you'd invested was suddenly earning interest. The more you had watched, the more the movie gave back. Recognition after recognition, each one whispering, "You did the homework, and it was worth it." For 11 years, Marvel made attention feel like the smartest investment in entertainment, which is exactly why what happened next hurt. After Endgame, the system did the one thing systems do. It grew. In 2021 alone, Marvel released 4 movies and 5 streaming series, more hours of new story in a single year than in its first 5 years combined. New characters, new timelines, new universes, new rules. And somewhere in there, the feeling flipped. "I can't wait to see what happens next" became, "I guess I need to watch this to understand the next one." That sentence is the sound of entertainment turning into obligation. The connections had been the magic. But when every ending is a trailer and every character is set up, the connection stops feeling special. The magic becomes infrastructure. And infrastructure is useful, but nobody gets emotional about plumbing. The numbers tell you exactly when the spell broke. Endgame opened to $357 million. 4 years later, the Marvels opened to 47, the lowest in Marvel history. Not because audiences stopped caring about the characters, because enough people finally asked the one question the system was built to prevent. What happens if I just stop? And the answer came back, nothing. Nothing happens. No one takes your memories. The sun rises. The homework simply ends. Once caring starts to feel like work, obsession doesn't explode. It just quietly files out of the theater. So, the question this channel always ends up at, was it manipulation? Yes. The open loops were engineered. The rituals were trained. The fear of being behind was designed into the release calendar itself. But here's the no. Nobody was tricked into feeling those payoffs. The portal scene really was 11 years of your own memory, cashing out at once. Marvel didn't invent the desire to finish things, or to belong, or to be rewarded for paying attention. It just built the first franchise, where all of those instincts pointed at the same ticket counter. So here's the big idea. Marvel was never really selling movies. It was selling the feeling of being caught up. And once being caught up feels valuable. Missing something feels expensive. That's the whole machine. That's why you sat through the credits. That's why skipping one felt like falling behind. And one more thing, since we're being honest about mechanisms. You may have noticed these episodes connect to the theme park, the warehouse, the popcorn. If you felt a small pull to go back and watch the ones you missed, that pull now has a name. And yes, we did it on purpose. The difference is, our homework takes 9 minutes. If this explained why your watch list feels like a to-do list, hit that like button. It genuinely helps more than you'd think. And subscribe. The universe is still expanding. This is why we obsess, why we watch, why we buy, why we can't look away.